the last couple of games have done for your team, psyche and morale and all those things?
Yeah, I just think we've hung in there. Even in the 2.5 weeks when we've lost 5 in a row, I think that their togetherness never changed. It's hard on your morale to lose. But similar to 2 years ago when we lost, you don't want to lose. But I think it says a lot about the group, specifically the young people, to be tough enough to come back from that. I think many times in life, particularly in college athletics, when you see things like that transpire, it's normally the end. And for our group to, I don't know if resurrect themselves is too strong of a word, but to hang in there and keep fighting and turn it back around, I think it says a lot about who they are and says a lot about how they've been raised.
How close are y'all, or maybe at the same level, in these last few games to where you want this team to be and where y'all were when you were having some success earlier in the year?
Yeah, one thing I talked to the team about yesterday when we started preparing is what would be those things, to your question, like what would be the correlation? We had 9 turkeys at Georgia. They shot 6 free throws. We shot 82% from the free throw line and made a bunch. We beat them on the offensive glass and beat them on the defensive glass. Wednesday night, we had 6 turkeys. They shot 7 free throws. We shot 75% from the free throw line and made a bunch of them. And I believe we beat them on the offensive glass, and we lost by 1, I think, on the defensive glass. I think those would be the things that would correlate. When we played Ole Miss, for example, we shot 55% from the free throw line. So can we defend? Can we get consecutive stops? Can we get consecutive stops without fouling, obviously? Can we get consecutive stops without fouling and finish with a defensive rebound? Potentially, does that change the tempo of us offensively? Yeah, I think it changes the tempo of any team offensively when you're able to get stops in a row. Would that potentially lead to getting fouled? It's argumentative, but it does within how we try to play. And then if you get fouled, can you make them? And so 6-4, lose 5 in a row, win 2 in a row thus far. I would say those are the buckets that we found have correlation between winning and losing. And so there's more to it than that, but from a statistical standpoint, those would be the things that I think have translated the most.
What do you think this recent emergence of Manny and even Solomon has done, not just for your team, but maybe for Wade in particular?
Yeah, I have. I've said it before publicly. I said it a lot privately. Mo is very well respected within our organization, and I hold him in the highest regard for his ability to hang in there, to endure, to keep fighting, to not make excuses, to not complain, to not sulk, to still be a great teammate. He's playing at a really high level, but he would be the first one if he was sitting here, hey, why didn't you do that earlier? He would be aware that he didn't. And like he's never backed off of that. His parents have never backed off that. His mentors never backed off that. And I'm glad that he's playing well, and he's for sure helped. And hopefully that'll keep going. And I hope it keeps going for a while. But I just admire that in this world that he's never blamed anybody. He's never pointed the finger. His sphere of influence has never made excuses. And maybe because I'm a little too old school, I actually think that that's why it's spun back around and he's doing so well. I mean, you could argue that he's in the gym more than any player in our program. And you can argue he was in the gym more than any player in our program when he wasn't playing. He was doing it every day. And if I gave you my phone and you look through all the text messages, good, bad games, a lot of minutes, no minutes, not one time is he begging, pleading, asking. He only wants what he earns. And I know I'm over the threshold of being old, but I really admire that. And I think it's being blessed. And I'm hoping that continues.
You feel like you don't have to rely as heavily on the weight as you were before?
Oh, I think we're very reliant on any player that plays on our team, just to be really transparent with you. We need Boots to be really good. We need Four to be really good. I thought Solo was tremendous. Maybe on both sides of the ball, as good as he's been. When he's not in foul trouble, when he's not participating with things that he can't control, he changes our team. His toughness, his ability to defend, get rebounds that you can't coach. And Mo can do some things that you can't coach too. But is it one player? It's like when we beat Iowa State. Well, how did that happen? Boots doesn't play and Henry doesn't play. It's all of us. It's all of them. And those two guys on Wednesday night were great. But the last game, Solo was in foul trouble the whole game. And so, we need all of them to be at the best they can be for us to be the best we can be.
You feel like you guys are in control of your own destiny at this point when it comes to the tournament and everything?
Yeah, we get to play tomorrow at 1:00, and I've been through this before, and so we need to be the best we can be tomorrow at 1, and then I know that we're assured of playing Thursday, and I don't know who, and I don't know any of it. I've just tried to remove myself from all the political. I know we've played a lot of quad 1 games. I know more than I act, but I think it's probably best that I just refrain from any of that. We've played good the last 3 games, and we've won 2 of those 3, and we'll need to play even better tomorrow to have a chance.
I know you kind of alluded to it, but does it feel similar to 2 years ago when obviously it wasn't as much of a losing streak this year, but you kind of turned things around after that chunk in the middle?
Yeah, it feels the same. It feels the same.
Buzz, with I guess from like a usage rate perspective and having the ball in his hands running point, has there been more of a concerted effort lately to have Wade be more off the ball, have Manny and Boots kind of be more running the point, and how do you balance running it through Wade at times and running it through the?
We probably don't do a good job of that. I don't do a good job of that. We call them ball guards, and I'm the only person that has an opinion on ball guards in the program that matters. And a ball guard means when you have the ball, am I anxious or calm? If you're a ball guard, you can have it whenever you want it. We only have 3, and they just happen to have been starting the last 2 games. So there's really, I don't care which one. And I think to some degree, there's some freedom in that they enjoy. They wouldn't articulate it like that. What we've tried to do, and I know you pay attention to smart stuff, we've tried to play with 2 at all times. And you can say we have always tried to play with 2 at all times. It just so happens that our 3rd one has finally arrived. And so now there's a little bit more margin. Do I think that 4's doing something different? No. We just have another guy on the floor that can dribble. And so does that mean that Four's better. No, there's just another guy that can dribble. And so I don't ever distinguish on a miss who to outlet it to. I don't ever distinguish, we call it when it's stuck. We didn't score in transition, and now we're about to reset. I don't ever distinguish who is the point guard. The ball guard is going to be the point guard. And we did a little bit of that before I came here. Is it the right thing? I don't know. I think the players like it, but the players want to play with as many ball guards as possible because it allows more freedom. What's happened with us is we're number one in the country in offensive rebound percentage. So we need to make sure we have the right forwards to chase after the balls that those ball guards are about to shoot. And those ball guards need to shoot predictable shots so that the right guys are chasing the right balls. Because when you play more ball guards, you're going to rebound less. And so that's kind of been a delicate exchange we haven't had a choice in regards to Henry. That's what made the choice. But we're playing with one less go-get because we're playing with one more get-back. Well, when you have the ball, that's okay. But when the ball's in the air, you're probably trading down in that regard, and you're trading down from what statistically among all Division I teams through 30 games you've done best. And with the margin that we're playing against, we don't have a margin, right? And so it has to be right. And so at times it looks pretty. If you make a bunch of free throws, it looks pretty because you're playing with more ball guards that are going to get fouled, if that makes sense. That just means that you better rebound the ball down there when you're playing distinctly smaller than we have been playing.
I think you've described this before, but Manny, for a lack of a better term, is kind of herky-jerky style.
Yeah.
I know there's probably part of you that sees it sometimes and you get a little nervous, but also it can create a bucket in ways maybe other guys can't.
Yeah, he's an artist.
Yeah.
He's an artist, and I said this to him. I actually said it to him during the game at Georgia, and then I brought it to our team's attention prior to Mississippi State when we were doing film. When I can't remember the exact number of minutes he played against Georgia, low 20s. Four's in foul trouble, so we're yo-yoing guys in and out. Henry's not playing, then Solo gets in foul trouble. We start Jace at the 4 in the second half, right, at Georgia? Yeah, so one of those times I pulled Mo out, I was like, man, this is fun. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I actually kind of know what you're about to do. And he goes, you do? And I go, yeah, I do. And that means if I do, they do. And I'm pointing at his teammates. And I mentioned it on Monday and Tuesday. The reason why you were good is everybody knew what you were doing. And where he has struggled is sometimes that herky-jerkiness leads to, I'm not sure what you're doing. So am I supposed to go get back? Am I supposed to go get? Are you about to pass? Are you about to shoot an unpredictable shot? I thought he's played with a high level of predictability in a game that is unpredictable, but he's played with predictability amidst that, and it's hard to guard, and it keeps our team in the right lane as well.
Are there any different challenges that Ole Miss presents? I know y'all played them already, but looking
Yeah.
at some of their recent games.
Yeah, it's been 10 games since we played them. So probably, I don't know what the math would be, but probably the longest stretch of a mirror opponent and you play 10 games. Coach has done a fabulous job. those 4 returning players that were on the team last year, all very skilled. The 4 guys that he's added since he was hired have definitely created a very strong 8, almost 9-man rotation. I think they're very skilled, dual purpose, and they caused us a lot of stress. Who to guard, how to guard, when to guard. And what I've studied, a lot of same things over the last 5 weeks since we've played them.
And what can you point to with your defense just over the last few games that they seem to be able to rack up turkeys pretty quick and early on, it seems?
I agree. That's for sure helped us instead of playing from behind the whole time. That's helped. And amidst offensive lulls because of the defensive stops and or consistency, it's kind of allowed it to stay a game. We've done a much better job guarding the ball. We've done a much better job keeping the ball in front of us and not fouling. And now if we can do that, if we're going to play smaller, we're not in rotation. And so then we have a chance to get the defensive rebound. And I think some of that is just the repeated priority of at some point we have to defend without fouling. I think some point of that we've made some adjustments relative to the opponent on how we're going to play behind the ball. And our guys have received that really well. And in some ways that's been a good adjustment relative to certain players, certain games. And so we've kind of began to try to grow that a little bit more, and hopefully that's helped some.
You said last time Ole Miss, the players kind of caused some problems and confusion a little bit with guarding. What do you want to see different this time around?
I would like to just see more of what we've seen the last 3 games. Can we guard the ball? Can we keep the ball in front? Can we defend without fouling? Can we finish the possession with a defensive rebound? And can we do that consecutively? That stretch against Mississippi State in the second half for 8 or 10 minutes, we played like 9 minutes and got 3 total stops, not 3 in a row. We got 3 total. Yeah, it goes from 23 to 3. That's what happens when you don't get stops. And so, yes, we're not as hopefully we can keep doing well or better offensively, but we can't get away from what we need to be good at.